Okay, so today we're going to focus on experiential learning, and most specifically, we're going to talk about service learning, what it is, and how we can integrate it into our courses. So experiential learning is this large umbrella of many different kinds of learning experiences, from co-ops and internships to service learning, any type of experience really that allows you to get a real opportunity to engage in the field in some way. So it's not just book learning, but you're really experiencing it somehow. Some good examples are student teaching, things like that are really great examples of experiential learning. One area underneath that umbrella of experiential learning is service learning. So let's talk about what that is. So here is a definition of service learning. Service learning is a teaching and learning strategy that integrates meaningful community service with instruction and reflection to enrich the learning experience, teach civic responsibility, and strengthen communities. So what you can see here is that it's a great opportunity for you to engage your students in so many different aspects that can really enhance the learning experience for themselves and make a difference in their communities as well. So we're going to talk about the different components of service learning. There's a lot of different models out there. We'll just kind of give you an overview of what that is and what it might look like in a class. So let's begin by talking about why it matters. And this was a really huge meta-analysis. So as you can see in front of you, there were almost 12,000 students in about 62 studies that were looked at. And they found that there were some really positive benefits of engaging students in service learning. So first of all, these students who engaged in service learning had more positive attitudes about themselves and the school that they participated in. They also had better social skills, which, as we talked about, these are really important skills that employers want. And then they also had higher levels of civic engagement. So they had this like stronger citizenship component of who they were. And of course, we're focused on course learning outcomes. So we definitely want to make sure that academically it also mattered. And the research shows that yes, absolutely it does. It has a positive impact on learning and academic achievement in general. So what is the process of getting service learning integrated into your course? Well, as with all kinds of teaching approaches, you always start with the end in mind. So we look at the outcomes of the course, and we look and see, what learning outcomes might lend themselves to service learning. Where might this be the path that would help them? In addition, we then need to take a survey or do some kinds of needs analysis of what our community needs are. Where are the places where students might be able to jump in and provide some kind of service to a local organization or community, near your college or institution or their homes. It doesn't have to always be physically near the college. And then the other really important part is reflection, and that's where the learning component, kind of falls. Is you're engaged in this wonderful community service that you're doing, but you have to then make some cognitive connections between the work that you're doing there and the content that you're learning in class. And that usually happens through the process of reflection. So just a reminder, as always, we want to make sure, you're not just throwing service learning into the mix because, oh, that's a really great strategy, but you want to make sure it fits into the overall design of your course, and it needs to be directly related to your learning outcomes. So there may be classes where it doesn't fit well at all, and there may be other classes where it really is a perfect fit. So what you want to think about when you're trying to determine whether service learning is a good, important method for your class is, do your outcomes have affective, ethical, or social components? They tend to lend themselves a little bit more to the service learning approach. And then also think about what kind of cognitive outcomes could be best achieved if you were serving an outside group. So how would this maybe help students kind of climb that Bloom's taxonomy and get to the higher levels of cognitive engagement? And oftentimes when students are out there making a difference in others' lives, that really does enhance the cognitive engagement. And of course, if you use Fink's model, you are going to have, more of that caring component is definitely going to be there with, students who are engaged in service learning projects. So identifying community needs, this can be complicated. Usually most colleges have a service learning department or office that you can go and tap into to get some assistance. They may have already done some of the groundwork for you. So if you bring, your learning outcomes to the student service learning representative at your college, they might be able to identify some needs that align to your learning outcomes. So that's always a great place to start. If for some reason your college doesn't offer that opportunity, you may need to do a little bit more of the legwork yourself. And, good first place to start is, again, talking to colleagues. Has anyone else done service learning in their class, and what kind of community needs were you able to meet with your student assignments and service learning component? Now, the final part is reflection. So this is really essential because it's not just volunteer work. So, really what differentiates volunteer work from service learning, you can go and make a wonderful difference as a volunteer as well. You can just go and help and, work for Habitats for Humanity or help out at a local church or organization. And those are fabulous, ways to make a significant contribution to your community. But the difference really here with service learning is it's connected to your course learning outcomes. So the reflection component is where we bring that experience back and put it in the mix in the context of the course itself. And we can do reflection in a variety of ways. It may be a group discussion that happens during class time or in an online format. It could also happen through reflective journals. So maybe after students are engaged in some type of community service work, they're writing and keeping a journal about how that work kind of helps them see the content come alive and why that increases the value of the coursework that they're doing. And of course, it could be more traditional methods like a paper or a presentation. The key here is you want to make sure that you're differentiating volunteerism from service learning, and it's that cognitive engagement that ties right back to the class that really does that for you. So I hope that was helpful to you, and I'll look forward to our ongoing dialogue about service learning and other experiential learning approaches.